Hello everyone and welcome back to another week of my work. This week I really made some big progress and I also finished a project together with my friend Jonathan, so let's get right to it. Also, if you enjoy my content, maybe consider subscribing to help me making more videos just like this one. Starting with something I already mentioned in last week's video. Music. As much as I enjoy programming, sometimes making music is a great way to get your mind off things. And over the last 2 months or so, Jonathan and I have created 5 royalty-free Synthwave songs, which you can hear playing in the background right now. I have both the music pack and Jonathan's channel linked in the video description, just in case you want to check either of them out. So really all I did the majority of this week was finishing, polishing or mastering tracks. So this is another project done, and I wouldn't be able to even start it if I didn't change my content in the first place. And this brings me straight to Saturday, where Jonathan and I kind of had a breakthrough regarding the connection between the client or the app and the server running inside of the OBS session. We were now able to control OBS with the emulator running on the computer. I will quickly show you how we achieved this. Okay, so compared to our original idea where we would give entries into a database, we now do everything via raw TCP ports. This is great because it's way faster and also safer because we don't have to authenticate users. For the server we are using sockets, the Python module, and this is pretty much just code that Jonathan wrote, and I don't understand everything of it because I'm not great with Python, but I will try to go over it really quickly. Inside of OBS, when you add it to the scripts, we can access these scripts by going to Tools, Scripts, then this window will open. We can add the server.py file to our script, and there it says that we should connect to this IP address on port 7071. This is a default port we chose to use, or use custom values, and then you can add your own values, just in a port or just in the IP address, or just the IP address and nothing on the port. And then you can click Start Server. This will open the server on the given port and IP address with the default values or with the custom values you supplied. And once it's started and open, it will just listen for connections and it will allow any connection. And once the client is connected, it will just listen for input. The client, on the other hand, sends specific commands in form of strings. For example, scene0, scene1, and so on. The server then decodes those values, and if there's a scene value in there, it will try to switch the scene based on the value we give it. So scene 0 will try to switch to the first scene in the order in OBS. So in my case, it would switch to the full cam close-up. It's the same with any other value we send, for example with mute, unmute, and etc. But that's something we still have to do because we would have to do some OBS Python with that. But of course we first have to connect somehow, and that's where Dart comes in. First, what we're doing is we're creating a socket. And once we click on this connect button, we will try to connect to the given IP and port. We give that through the 2 text fields here. And of course, port has to be an int. Once we're connected, we can send information by calling socket.write and giving it a string as an argument, and it will send it to the server. But of course, we should also disconnect from the server or close the connection, and that's why I have this disconnect button. And when we click on that, we send stop to the server because this is a command that will stop the Python server right here. It will close the connection as well and exit the script. And on the Dart side, it will also close the connection after all. Although it worked perfectly fine on the emulator, it didn't on a real phone. The first problem was that we were using the wrong IP of the server, because Python selected an Ethernet interface created by VMware or VirtualBox. We fixed this issue by only selecting the IP address without a .1 ending, because normally this .1 ending is reserved for gateways or routers, so that way we were always selecting the correct IP. But still the app would not connect to our OBS session. We were thinking that it had to do with the phone and the server being on different subnets. After a good 2 hours of googling and testing, we found out that it was the firewall that was blocking the incoming connection and the fact that the Flutter app did not have any internet access. And that was my fault, by the way. We then also spent some time to figure out if we could create a firewall exception programmatically. But the solution we came up with wasn't really up to our standards, so we let the user create the exception manually if needed. And that's all I had time for this week. I know I didn't stream this week, for example, but that was really up to my time schedule and school. As always, if you know anything I could improve, let me know in the comments down below. And till then, see you next time.